In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, St. Lucie residents encouraged to showcase the parish for regathering and reap the economic benefits. Barbadians advised to avoid contact with the invasive red millipede now on the island. And in sports, the Bin 10 defending champs suffer a shock defeat to the Titans.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. The St. Lucie residents have been advised to maximize the benefits from regathering as the parish showcases its unique selling points and all it has to offer. This was part of the message as the organizers and residents gathered in Holy Communion this morning to bless the coming proceedings. Senior Minister Carrie Simmons told the congregation at the St. Lucie Parish Church, regathering in the Northern Parish is an opportunity for tourists to experience the communities and bring business to local shops.
We all know that the visitors to Barbados like to be and to do and to experience that which we do. And therefore, the rum shop in St. Lucie and those people in St. Lucie who are not chefs, I don't want to make this thing a fancy thing, those people who could cook, they must be celebrated and they must be identified. And one of the things that we hope to be able to achieve is to identify the best cooks across this island in every parish.
Reverend Hugh Sandiford, in his sermon, says faith of self and nation will increase.
As we gather here today, we conclude this Christmas season. But with all endings, there is a beginning. So we begin in faith by following Jesus, the light of the world, as we gather. Let us, like wise men and women, worship or respond in love, because that is what worship is. Let us respond in love to God by bringing all that we are as we come long home and build a better St. Lucie, a better Barbados, and in so doing, advance God's kingdom.
And St. Lucie representative Peter Phillips says many want to be on board.
It's an acronym: family, achievements, institutions, talents, and heritage. And that is what will be showcased this year. We will be updating you on a weekly basis of all those events that will be taking place. Simply because every day the excitement is so high that we are getting people from the same shops that you spoke about, Minister, the small business owners and so on. They are coming and they're saying, I want to be part of that.
The calendar is packed with events to be enjoyed by all. The red millipedes, now quite prevalent in Barbados, may have come through the ports of entry. That's the word from Director of the Centre for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Kirk Douglas. Our reporter, Akeem Klinkett, tells us more.
Barbadians are now seeing these creatures around their homes. Scarlet millipedes, or red millipedes, also known as Trigonelius corallinus, is a type of small arthropod that is native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. These colorful nocturnal creatures are herbivores and feed primarily on decaying leaves and wood. In the last couple of months, they have become prevalent in Barbados and have proven themselves to be a nuisance to Barbadian households and crop owners. Speaking to CBC News, Director of the Centre for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Kirk Douglas, said they are likely to have entered through the ports of entry and asked for better detection methods moving forward.
These particular species could have entered through the ports of entry, so this is either through, more than likely through the actual seaport when you're importing plants and soil. Especially the eggs of the millipedes can be present in the soil or even attached to plants because they're so small and microscopic that they can be missed. And then once they enter the country, then under the right conditions, the eggs hatch. But it only highlights also to why we have to have good biosecurity at the ports of entry to be able to monitor and to also reduce the risk of the entry of unwanted pests.
Dr. Douglas says that human contact should be avoided with the millipede as it can cause irritation to human skin.
Like any other critter or creature, you want to have good sanitary practices, but they do release formic acid, which, when you're bitten by an ant actually injects formic acid, and that's the stinging feeling that you feel. But the formic acid is something that can cause blisters, skin irritation as well. So that's why the prohibition of handling them with your bare hands is recommended, or even stomping them with your feet, etc. Try to get a dustpan, hand broom, and try to get them out.
Meanwhile, entomologist Ian Gibbs gave some advice to homeowners on what they can do to reduce the sighting of the millipedes around and inside the home.
You can try to reduce the amount of organic matter that you have on the outside, like as you said, like piles of rotten leaves, rotten grass, gas, anything like that. And the second thing, they could also try insecticides like Mortel, Mortel, which contains fipronil. And you could also try another insecticide called Bifeng, Bifen. And the two of them should give some control.
For any concerns or strange sightings, all public are encouraged to call the Ministry of Agriculture or use them via WhatsApp Messenger at 832-2445. Akeem Plinkett, CBC News.
There is a need for robust legislation related to heritage sites and terrestrial archaeological resources. The call from Deputy Director at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Kevin Farmer. He was speaking at an event entitled Ancestral Voices from the Newton Burial Ground, held at Bajan Art Forms in Pelican Village. Mr. Farmer says while the government has passed legislation for marine resources, there is a need now to look at the land aspects of the matter.
We've signed on to international charters, which means that we must put in place local legislation. I know that some governmental agencies are going through the process of relooking that again. What I will say that is encouraging is in the last 2 weeks, Parliament has passed legislation to protect marine archaeological resources. So it has been covered. It is now to protect the terrestrial.
Mr. Farmer says that while there is some legislation in place, it is not as in-depth as it needs to be, especially with a lot of construction expected in the coming years.
For right now, we only hang our hat on town planning legislation. And town planning legislation, because they will come to agencies like the museum and or the National Trust, can indicate where valued heritage is, asks for particular things to be done, but at the end of the day is at the town planner to decide and say to the developer, you need to do X or Y. What I can't say is what then are the enforcement measures that the town planner has to make sure that that happens.
The Constitutional Reform Report is the focus of a public meeting happening at this hour at the Frank Collamer Hall at the Central Bank of Barbados. The session was organized to give Barbadians an opportunity to share their views on the report, which was compiled after wide stakeholder and public consultation. It started at 5 p.m. We'll have the full story from the meeting tomorrow during Newsnight. Coming up, a 14-year-old girl missing and police want your help finding her. Police are seeking the public's assistance in locating missing girl Haley Naomi Talia Howard. The 14-year-old of Alexandria, St. Lucie was last seen by her mother, Tamisha Howard, about 8 p.m. on January 4th. Howard is approximately 5 feet 5 inches tall, of slim build, brown in complexion, with one piercing in each earlobe and left nostril. She also has a scar on her left hand. She has natural black hair, which has been bleached in a blonde color. Howard also has a tattoo on her right ankle and another with her first name Haley on the upper right side of her thigh. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Haley Howard is asked to contact Police Emergency at 211 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS. Ahead in sports, highlights from today's BIM 10 cricket tournament.
Good evening with sports. I'm Anne-Marie Burke. Led by an unbeaten knockout 52 from Shane Brathwaite, Titans upstage defending champion Settlers by 9 wickets in today's action from the BIM 10 cricket tournament. Playing at Windward, Settlers posted 87 for 6 as Jerome Jones with 2 for 17 and Shamar Marshall 2 for 15 starred with the ball. Titans replied with 92 for 1 to give Settlers their second loss. Here are the highlights.
Here is Jones again. And that one is being launched over the mid-on region, and it looks like we'll have our first maximum of the day. Short again, and this one is pulled high in the air. Fielder's settling under it, and he takes the catch. He'll be delivering to Aline, and that one is driving off the edge and is taken. Curtin is playing this one, spilling off the outside edge, and is taken by the fielder running back from the point region. And he's playing that one. Fielder comes in under it now, and he takes a comfortable catch. Looks like Jones advancing down the track, and he's playing that one down to the long off region, but catch is taken. Welcome Goodman at the crease shortly. Shakir Marshall, and this one is taken comfortably. Bit of a pull toss from Marshall. Here's Marshall now into Marshall, and he squeezes that one past the fielders in the circle and gets a boundary off the final ball of the innings, taking the total for the Settlers up to 87 for 6. The left arm pace, and Tennyson Roach gives that one the treatment, playing that one deep over the mid-on region, and it's gone into the boundary for 6 runs. Continues now to Brathwaite this time, who stays deep in his crease. No look shot into the leg side with disdain. 6 runs now signaled by umpire Tate. No look shot. Roach expressing himself once more, playing that one over the deep mid wicket boundary, and that's 6 runs. His time at the bat, inventive from Brathwaite into the 3rd ball here in his 2nd over, but Roach gives that one the treatment, inside out, over cover and into the boundary now for 4 runs. Brathwaite expressing himself, inside out, over cover, 6 runs. And that one is given the treatment by Brathwaite. First up, slug sweep over mid wicket. Lofting this one down to deep mid wicket. Curtin settles under it and takes an expert catch. And Brathwaite gives it the treatment. I believe that one will sail over the boundary now, and 6 runs takes him to 50, takes his team, the Titans, to victory.
In the days of the match, Guardians were 4-run winners over Voyagers. Scores: Guardians 122 for 5. Talbot Brathwaite led with 60. Voyagers 118 for 4. Akeem Springer made 53. Now, Australia raced to victory on day 3 of the 5th test in Sydney to beat India by 6 wickets and win the 5-match series 3-1. The result also sees the Aussies qualify for the World Test Championship final at Lord's in June, where they will face South Africa. Player of the match, Scott Boland, took 6 for 45, with India adding just 16 runs to their overnight 2nd innings score to be bowled out for 157. Australia reached 162 for 4 to regain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Showtime, ridden by Delano Lopez, won the first feature race of the We Gathering Barbados 2025 race at the Garson Savannah last evening, taking the Mum's Pride Perpetual Trophy handicap.
Racing and Queen of the South was a little slow to go for this, the Mum's Pride Perpetual Trophy handicap 2025 edition, and as expected, it's Showtime in the black and gold who goes to the lead. Sitting in the 2nd is Indelible, black with red sleeves and red cap. Mikal is 3rd in the 2 shades of green. Then Queen of the South in the orange jacket, and the trailer is Sovereignty, black with red sleeves and black cap. The opening quarter, a very slow 26 flat as we go towards the 5 furlong mark, and it is Showtime, just about a length and a half up from Indelible. Mikael just cruising along in 3rd. Queen of the South going up along the rails, and Sovereignty is in touch as just about 7 lengths will cover the entire field after a half mile in 51 and 2. And Showtime has them stacked up behind them. That's the leader, just by about a length now from Indelible. Mikal being pushed along. Queen of the South is looking on the rails for a run through. And on the outside, Stormity makes a good run as well. Inside the quarter pole they come, and it is show time. Still the leader. Indelible is still second. Mikal is caught wide in third. Queen of the South needs the running room, and if she gets it, she can be the biggest threat to Showtime. Inside the final furlong they come, and it's Showtime under left-hand drive. On the outside, here's Queen of the South to ask her a question. It is Showtime and Queen of the South. Showtime from woe to go wins it. Queen of the South was second, Mika was third.
And that's sports. The weather is next with Carrie-Ann O'Neill.
Good evening and welcome to the weather news. Well, the ridge pattern is our dominant feature now, but earlier today convergence maintained partly cloudy to cloudy skies along with some showers. The winds across the region, they are moderate. Meanwhile, convergence maintained some afternoon isolated thunderstorms across sections of the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 81%, which means we do have some moisture building in the atmosphere. Those winds are coming in from the east. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where earlier today, convergence maintained partly cloudy to cloudy skies along with some showers here in Barbados. We had up to 9.7 millimeters of rainfall. Thereafter, the ridge pattern became the dominant feature. As a result, we had mostly fair skies. Now, the winds across the region, they are moderate. They're peaking at 17 knots for us here in Barbados. Those seas, they are above normal. They're moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Later on tonight, we can expect mostly clear skies, along with just a few isolated light showers. Further south, the ridge pattern was the dominant feature at first. They had mostly fair skies during the morning. By afternoon, convergence maintained isolated thunderstorms across sections of the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, there is a frontal boundary maintaining wet conditions across sections of Cuba, Jamaica, as well as Hispaniola. We move now to the forecast, where the sun is expected to rise at 6:22 and will set at 5:46. Now, the first high tide, that is expected at 8:36 in the morning, the first low at 1:58 in the early morning. The seas, moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging once again those sea bathers to exercise caution at this time. And the winds, they're coming in from the east, northeast to the east, peaking at 35 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, the ridge pattern will continue to dominate. We are expecting mostly clear skies, along with a few isolated light showers. And over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds, and showers can be expected.
That's the news. Thanks for joining us, and make your evening merry.